What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Lost. It's been a while, but today we're going to be analyzing the new Valentine's banner Ardent Admirers. And I'm your host, a bucket of cum, and my buddy Burke, who summoned 16 tenfolds and didn't get what he wanted. Let's talk about that first before we actually start with the banner. So, you try to get the wonderful wyrmprint that allows you to get the outstanding ability, which we're going to be covering in a bit, by the way, of getting a skill prep 100%. So, how is it that you were not able to pull that off with 16 tenfolds?
I'm still in disbelief. It's pretty hard to imagine how it didn't happen. I pulled many of the other one, the rose one, and I got some off ones, and I got many dragons and other things. I don't really know. It should have happened. I'm gonna hopefully YOLO it or something later to, because everybody should be going after that skill prep wyrmprint. It is incredible. It is going to be one of the best wyrmprints in the entire game moving forward, assuming that the double wyrmprint change is coming. So, hopefully I can still get it.
And that's today's topic for today. We're going to be talking about that wonderful wyrmprint, among other things. So, first, why don't we go over the Hirudegarn. I think that this is a very important topic, especially for people who are kind of like asking me this a million times already.
We shall swear a vow together. Are you prepared?
About damn time.
Like, what's your opinion of Verica versus Hirudegarn? I'm actually not quite sure, to be perfectly honest. I mean, yeah, she does have the basic regen, which is probably the most superior healing at this point. I think most people have realized that at this point, that having a regen is better than a burst healing for the most part. I mean, yeah, there are times where burst healing would help you a lot more, but in general, people have gotten better with getting out of the horrible situations. They don't get hit like right away, so a few seconds and then all of a sudden the regen heals more than the one-time heal would have done. So that's what she has now, rather than what she had in her base form, which is one big heal. And it also provides energy. So this is what's new, mainly what's new about Hild for this time around. Just having energy, being able to provide energy. So I think that, I don't know, I mean, your friend has tried out Hild in the High Midgard. What did he say about this? Why don't you let the audience know about what the results were?
Yeah, so far, a friend of mine who mains Verica has found that Hild's healing, not surprisingly, is not as good because she only has the one heal on Blooming Love. The shield, unlike the original Hild, does not have any heal on it, so it's less forgiving with one heal. However, the energy adds up, especially both skills added, so there's 3 total energy on her skills, and my friend found on his limited runs that he had 15-20 seconds faster. Now, we can't hold us to that time, I don't know how much faster, but certainly if you've got more energy for your DPS that are charging up energy attacks, they're going to be doing more damage, so I would expect groups that can overcome the less healing that the new Hild has will still be able to clear this faster, so that will be an edge there.
Yeah, I mean, the energy does provide extra DPS, but I'm a little worried about people who aren't very good at the game getting hit a couple more times than they should. The shield will cover you. Well, sometimes, depending on how hard High Midgard hits. 30% of your maximum HP is going to be a bit sketchy for certain units, like the range units like Sinoa or like Cerise. They will definitely probably take more than 30%. The melee, maybe they'll be okay if they get hit by a ball or something. They can just absorb it or something like that. But the shield is a bit sketchy for me as a result, because it doesn't heal, it just provides a shield and 2 energies. Now, the energy probably isn't an issue, because in High Midgard you don't have to worry about getting stunned. Most people would have anti-stun by now. Hell, Uden has anti-stun. So you've got anti-stun already, so you don't even have to worry about that. You're guaranteed to get your energy settled without any issues. But that's the main issue with this Hild. However, compared to the Light Hild, there is one thing that I like about her, is that you can actually equip a healing wand, like a third skill that gives you a heal, rather than a third skill that gives you a damage, because Light only has damage, and I think even the fourth tier is damage as well, was like strength increase. It was something really, really silly. It didn't fit healers at all. Until Void Battle shows up and tells us, hey, listen, we're going to give you a new set of healer staffs. Those actually heal or provide protection for your allies, instead of like, you do AoE damage. Like, what the hell's the point? You're usually, when you're a healer, you're busy beefing yourself up with HP dragons. Even with Prometheus, which we will get into, you don't want to use him because you're usually using your HP, because you heal more with your HP. So it doesn't make sense to do that. So with regards to the staff, you can actually get a third heal if you use a tier 4. The tier 5 is still terrible, and we're not going to use that one unless you really need the stats. But you're not going to need the stats. I've been using a 0 unbound tier 4 for a while as Verica in High Midgard, so I know for a fact you do not need to get a 5-star, you do not need to do anything, you just need to get a staff that allows you to heal one extra time, so that when somebody makes a mistake, like, oh, for instance, Nars makes mistakes a lot when we used to play, when we used to do High Midgard, he plays Ezelith. You all know about Ezelith. She's a gigantic roach, she gets stunned, and that being said, at least I can heal her stun if she does get stunned. But with this Hild, unfortunately, you do not have this thing. You have energy, which is good, but I don't think the DPS increases that much either. I think it's, from the DPS charts we've seen in the previous past, they seem to... It's a good chunk, but it's not big enough to make such a huge difference that I say I would forego healing stun for it. I don't know, I mean, that's my opinion on the matter. I mean, you've used her for a bit, and you've also heard your friend about it. What do you think? I mean, do you think healing stun is all that necessary? But I mean, I did say that stun is kind of like, stun resistance is kind of like commonplace now, so...
Yeah, I think for people who are beginners or who are just pugging with completely random people, I think Verica is the safer and better option to just get clears done. If you've got a group and you're farming it, you're trying to maximize things, I do think that this Hild is going to be the superior option for a group that really knows what they're doing, but I don't think it's worth like going out of your way to get that. I think Verica is more than fine for any top-end run, and it's much more accessible. Otherwise, though, I think there's not going to be a tremendous difference between either one. So I think that, you know, like you were saying, just get the 4-star wand, then you get 2 heals, plus the shield, plus the energy, and she'll be fine. So.
Alright, now let's go talk about her extra abilities, because this one thing, the Strength Debilitator, that's the one thing that differentiates her along with all the other healers. Now, so this thing does give you an ability to weaken an enemy's strength by a 70% chance by 3% at a 70% chance. So when you use a charge attack or force strike with a healer, you do 4 hits. You shoot your laser and it's like psh, 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 and then you hit 4 hits. And I mean, looking at the 70% chance, you're looking at a decent 2 to 3 hits, and in average usually. And 4 hits is probably not uncommon either, so it's actually pretty decent, especially since it lasts for 10 seconds. Now, does it refresh itself? That's actually something I wouldn't want to know. Did you ever find out about that?
I did not get to play test this yet. I think it's going to work the way you said, where it's going to have a chance on each hit. If it were 70% like total for the 4 hits, that would not feel very strong to me. This skill feels like it was designed in mind with her playing High Midgard, where you have those times where the purple tornadoes are coming at you and you go to the side and you just want to force strike into the boss. That feels like exactly what this skill was made to do. 3% isn't that much, but on a gigantic dragon that has a crap ton of strength, that actually might make a difference. Like on a random map with some stupid little trash mobs, who cares? But on like HMS, it might matter. Now, whether it stacks is a good question.
Could you test it out right now?
No idea.
Could you test it out right now? Just
yes,
pull
I
out
could.
your phone, test it out right now, shoot something and see if the 10 seconds refresh. Kind of funny how we're doing this testing right now. I should have thought about this earlier. My apologies.
I should have thought of it. I have the goddamn unit. That's pretty good. It does not really appear to be lasting for 10 seconds. Either that or the text is just disappearing. However, it is applying very frequently. Pretty much every single time I fire this thing, it is applying.
But
I can't.
do you see a number that indicates that it's being stacked?
Oh wait, yeah. Let me see. Yes, it is stacking.
Okay, so if you see the numbers count down.
Yep. I got it up to 3 stacks. I'm gonna see if I can. I can get this up too.
Yeah, see if it goes from 3-0 or 3-1.
I'm actually gonna restart the map just because dude, the beam sometimes like shifts angle like mid-charge.
Okay, I don't know how that works unless you're accidentally targeting a raptor or something.
I was targeting the raptor, then it died, and then my beam just shifted over to Midgard.
I guess that makes sense. I've seen the beam getting circled around because of there was a bug that allows you to do it, but it requires you to switch between a bot.
So yeah, I was unable to get it past 3.
Oh, okay, but how did it go down?
How did it go down? It went down one at a time.
One at a time? Okay, so it has its own individual cooldowns. Got it. Alright, that's basically all I need to know. Alright,
Yep.
So in additional stacks do not refresh the cooldown, so you can get it up to like 3 or 4 or something like that, and that would be the end of it.
Right.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Alright, so when you look at it like this, we'll just say it's a 9% reduction of strength from time to time. Now, the problem is that do you really see yourself spamming 4 strikes outside of doing outside of breaking them though? I mean, like, that's not what I do when I as a healer. As a healer,
No.
you know, I keep throwing
There
balls.
are a couple points where it makes sense to do it. I do believe when the once the bar is in overdrive, the 4 strike does more, not damage. It does more to that break bar than a regular attack.
Of course.
But it doesn't make sense to do that given the stave 4 strike, because you have to stand still firing that thing. So it really only makes sense to do when you have a window to do it, which is like a couple of times during the fight. Like I'm thinking when they split out for the tornadoes and you move to the side to dodge it and you're standing there, you just start 4 striking away and then you can run back in.
Exactly. That's the one thing I see weak about this thing. Now, it makes sense if this thing reduces defense instead. Then, during those windows where you and your friends are beating on HMS, they do more damage. They break them faster, and everyone's happy. The strength reduction is silly. It doesn't make sense to me. Usually when you need that strength reduction, the boss is moving around like crazy, trying to rip your face off, so it doesn't really make much sense to use it then. And in fact, you even have to actually aim and hit them with this skill in order to do it. I'd much rather be throwing regular balls during that time and getting as much heal charges ready as possible. So I think that striking Strength Debilitator is really not all that great. It's a gimmick that is just kind of like, I mean, like we said earlier, we could stack a bunch of hills together and try and, reduce your strength to like 30%. That's funny, but I don't think it's all that practical either. So, I guess that's pretty much it about her. I mean, she comes with a standard skill prep 100%, which is the standard of Hilds. But Hirudegarn is, I mean, she gets you started with 3 energy, so I guess that's kind of cute. But at the end of the day,
she's good. I mean, if you have Verica, you shouldn't feel the need to pull for her. If you don't have Verica, yeah, this is a great unit. It's a good healer to use. So if you get one, that's
I suppose, but I feel like it's still very gimmicky. And there's a lot of gimmicky things with her. I mean, I guess you would use her, but the investments is also higher compared to Verica. Well, then again, never mind. Verica, you would have to use Eldwater to get to 5 stars, so maybe not. But you still have to actually summon her. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling the second skill. The Holy Protection is just not something I feel. And then there's the Striking Strength Debilitator, which basically use up 1 slot for funds. It's really not all that great, in my opinion.
The main thing that she can do is that people can eat, like the Chaser after the Pillar. The shield will absorb the Chasers. So if people don't get hit, or if you have a good group, then you can stack on your Pillar, you pop the shield, and then that's it. You don't have to worry about the healing.
But doesn't it do more than like 30% damage though? I would think that the Chaser.
My light hild can absorb the Chaser, so I'm pretty sure this one.
I see. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it did say it's based on your 30% of your maximum HP instead of their maximum HP, which we found out with Hild before when we were playtesting Hirudegarn. We discovered that the maximum HP that's being calculated is not the unit that's getting hit. It's actually Hirudegarn, who creates the shield, whose maximum HP is being calculated. Since your maximum HP is like what, 3,000 or something, a little more than that, I guess I can see that happening. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
But again, 1 heal, so there's trade-offs. I think she's fine. I mean, I don't think she's insane. Not as insane in terms of healing as the original version. But she's good. But it's if you have a Verica, you shouldn't feel like, oh no, I have to go get this Hild now.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to summon this Hild. I mean, I like Hild, I like Hirudegarn a huge ton, but I want the light one. The light is just such a better element, despite the fact that the wands currently is not very good. We have to consider that Void Battle is going to be coming, and it's going to be definitely fixing these issues. No doubt in my mind that the 5-star light wand will be much better. Light staff will be much better than it is now. So with that said, I'm still not feeling her. But I guess I can understand if that's the only one that you have before Verica. Then we can talk about using her. But for the most part, though, I feel like she's more geared towards people who are geared already. It's not like a beginner's healer like Verica is, or the original Hild.
Completely agree.
But anyway, why don't we move on now? Let's talk about Prometheus. I hear so many people talk about Prometheus because he's a guy dragon. He looks cool and edgy, and he has this cool ability. Not his main ability, which does fire damage only, but his cool ability of adding 15% to wind resistance. Now, I had this talk to you about this before with regards to certain wyrmprints that comes with resistance in the past. Like, you know how Luca's prank had like 3, or does it build up to like 5 or something like that, maximum bound? And since we're gonna now have the 2 wyrmprint thing, I can see, like, say, Vampire Ezelith has this wonderful little thing that, what is it called again? Her wyrmprint. It's the one that gives extra damage based on combo, and it also gives wind resistance. So having that stacked together with it, you can start considering that, maybe I can run Ezelith in High Midgard. I feel like this whole banner has been one High Midgard care package. Though it doesn't really make any sense to me because High Midgard is much more easier compared to Brunhilde. And it's not because it's easier, it's just the requirements are a lot less strict. I mean, even with Peng Lai, who came out a little bit ago as the dragon, you have to consider that, hey, I still need like 20 something in my staff dojos. I still need to go and give my Thaniel like to 5-star, and I still have to do all these. I still have to feed the stupid dragon a million of these fruits, which are actually expensive resources. They're not expendable resources. They're very short. There's not many ways to get them, and so High Brunhilde is a much more pain in the ass fight. Whereas with this guy here, now you can have certain characters that couldn't make the initial blast before just use the basic level 1 unmax abound version of Prometheus, and they can probably still even do the fight. Of course, max abound would be best, but currently I feel like it's a bit of an overkill with regards to high Midgard. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you think you can think of another instance where you would actually use Prometheus at this point, except maybe Void Battle?
That's literally it, because otherwise the resistance is a wasted stat. I mean, like, for any normal map, you're talking Imperial Onslaughts, Dragon maps, like, the wind resistance is a complete waste. It's only going to matter when you really need that resistance to live through something, which is right now the High Dragon and maybe the Void Battle. Sonoa is the biggest example of a unit I think that can benefit from this. Someone that might have wanted like High Brunhilde's Dragon before, which, you know, you have to clear Brunhilde a lot to get that. So if you're doing that to try to run Sonoa in HMS, you're probably an advanced player already. So this is a much better option for someone who wants to run Sonoa that like is just starting. But yeah, like you said, I think this is an HMS care package type deal. He looks cool. He's, you know, got nice art, but I think it's really just, if you want him for HMS, great, summon for him. If not, you're probably not going to use him otherwise, unless the Void Battle happens to need it.
Or you're like us bundles. That's what he is. And he's not even limited either, so you can just keep getting him later on down the line. I feel like you don't have to rush to get him today. Really, yep. Honestly. Although, there is one thing I want to note about the resistance things. Okay, so with regards to these 15% resistance thing, I actually want to think of them as twice the effect. Like, it's not actually 15%, it's more like 30%. Now, before it sound like weird math, let me explain. So when we take wind damage, is a fire unit, we already half our damage. So if you add on top of that, doesn't it make more sense that this 15% actually makes even more of an impact then? Because, I mean, yeah, you're taking you're still, in the grand scheme of things, like taking only 35% damage, but when you think about it, when your damage is already half, that 15% is actually more than that. But that's just my observation on the matter. Everything over 50 is always just very exciting for me. That is why in the past I saved all those resistance wyrmprint, even though I kind of don't like them, like Luca's Prank, for instance. But, you know, I feel that with the 2 wyrmprint thing, that is no doubt going to come. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to come now. I can just see it happening right when the Void Battle thing comes out. But that's about
it. Definitely, because, and this is a good segue into the next thing to talk about.
Okay.
The wyrmprint power creep has been insanely rampant lately, and and that's a good thing, by the way, because wyrmprints have been awful and they have needed to be better. And this is the next one we're about to talk about. The Chocolatiers might be the most impactful wyrmprint we've seen in a very long time. It has one ability, skill prep 100%. That is all it has. I don't even think we need to spend that much time on it. It's really, really good. Anyone that has any unit that has 100% skill prep on it should know. You immediately have your skills ready. There's just so many different things that you can do with this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Lowen, for instance, could benefit from it, although Lowen already comes with skill prep. But like, there are weapons that gives defense. Let's talk about the list right here, okay? So with regards to characters, the most important one I think is Sonoa with her custom concoction. So if she rolls a 15% dev, or no wait, the level 3 is like 25% dev and 15% HP, yeah, she's going to actually start surviving things that she normally wouldn't. And even if not, I mean, we've already experimented with how to keep Sonoa alive despite all that. So you could have your guys do a lot more damage to the enemy right at the start when HMS is busy charging up. Just you can actually dish out quite a bit of damage while he's just standing there doing his initial blast. Then you have Thonel with the Seafarer's Pride. He couldn't proc it right in the beginning, like, right? So now
that's another example.
Yeah, now High Brunhilde has become a lot more accessible. This is a huge thing. This isn't just about benefiting that one hero. It's about changing the meta altogether with regards to what kind of units you can take with you. In general,
Go ahead.
Go. Oh, okay. All right. In general, the units that we take is like what? 4. We have to take a Saintfried because Saintfried gives HP, and we have to take a Thanael. We have to take. Well, Lily is kind of questionable, but Lily is good DPS, and we also have to take an Orsum or something like that to start baiting the flamethrower because Saintfried is not exactly high as DPS, and since these guys are the ones with the burning resistance, we were able to use them. But now you can get past a couple checks and you start using different characters. So Thanael being able to access that is a huge thing. Anyway, so what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I had been doing some just testing, playing around with stuff way before this banner was even, we had a data mine, and I was able to get my Light Hild's shield to absorb the initial blast on HMS on Vanessa. It did 0 damage, and it required a whole bunch of ridiculous, unpractical things for me to do to get that to work. However, if you have a team of people and they all have 100% skill prep wyrmprints, and you start stacking defense weapons on them and all sorts of things, I already can easily picture a scenario where you walk in with the Valentine's Hild and the shield just eats the initial blast on everyone, and you're all at full to start the battle. I really don't think that is going to be far-fetched. It's going to require crazy gear, you know, that for people who really pull. It's not going to be like free-to-plays are doing this, but it's gonna work now if people have these 100% skill preps. You're going to be able to do ridiculous things with this wyrmprint, and that is why I'm very sad that I was unable to get it.
Yeah, this wyrmprint is out of control. Being able to stack defense. In fact, I think you don't even need to use a shield. I think you can even forego that if you just have a bunch of defense. Actually, let me think. 25. Well, I guess if you all have 25% defense, but currently only Sanoa and Ryuzen reaches up to 25% because they have level 3 skills as their primary. However, the idea of having a shield is good because it prevents the knockback and the status that comes with the initial blast. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so that in itself increases your DPS dramatically. Not even a little bit, it dramatically, because he takes his dear time to do his stupid thing, then it pushes you back, then he shows off with roaring or something like that for a few seconds, so you can do a lot of damage during that time. And there's also a number of other things too. I mean, let's see. Oh wow, Julieta can hit 50% by herself. There's Hollow Raymonds for Amane, which gets her started with her HP buff, along with Berserker get them started with the HP buff. So that's really, really good. I'm really looking forward to getting this card if I get it. And then you have more protection with regards to weapons, and hopefully later with Void weapons, you have stuff that will give like team buffs rather than just self buffs and like that. You can do a lot of damage. It is absolutely deplorable. I'm really looking forward to this. This card changes everything. This is the one wyrmprint that you really should be getting. Even if you just get one, you want to go and use keys on that one. And I think you only really need one, honestly. I don't think you would find a situation where you would need multiple unless you want to do the stacking on your own, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you just need the one. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're soloing High Midgard or something like that, you can set yourself up in a way like this. But yeah, that's way too that's way too much. Even I won't look forward to that. All right, so let's talk about the Rose Prince. Since you ended up getting 2 of him, I suppose you might have some feelings to it. Maybe some way to justify the Rose Prince.
Yeah, I got 3 Rose Princes.
3? Oh my god.
I don't know how this thing works, because the first part says if they're attuned to flame, so, I put it on a fire unit, resists afflictions up to 3 times. Now, I believe, I didn't test it because I didn't really feel like using this damn thing. I think that will work on everything. So, like, let's say Nars brings in his Ezelith, and he puts Rose Prince on his Ezelith, is the second wyrmprint, then he will take the initial blast, and then he will not get stunned, and for 2 more times, he won't get stunned.
Yeah, so, that's exactly how it is. If they're attuned to flame. So, in my opinion, this is one of these ways you can get started in High Midgard, because like we said earlier, this is a High Midgard care package. So if you don't have a stun resistant character, no problem, just slap one of these, and then you can get away with it like 3 times a quest. Usually people don't get hit that often. Even Nars doesn't get hit that often. It's just, sometimes a ball comes out when you least expect it, you get hit, oh, you're stunned, and then you die. That's usually how the thing ends. But normally people aren't so poor at this game that they get hit that many times. So this is a good shielding effect that helps prevent this. And on top of that, you have the shield prep too. So the ball itself doesn't really do that much damage either. I mean, 20% is a bit of a stretch, but I think you could probably absorb it as well. But otherwise,
yeah, 20% is decent. It's going to work off obviously your own HP. But I'm so used to the shields being off of Hild, but this is going to be off the wearer. I don't know if you're going to get your HP high enough to absorb chasers or things, but you certainly will eat some kind of attack, a melee swing. It'll give you a little bit of flexibility to, you want to finish a rotation. You don't get the knockback or anything when the shield breaks. So if you're trying to finish a combo off or something, you can just, go through a melee swipe to finish it off, knowing you've got your shield up.
Exactly. Though I feel like this is more of a training wheel wyrmprint. As much as I like Leaf and the way he looks so cool with his rose and all that, I feel like this is a training wheel wyrmprint. It's for people who needs the assistance. Of course, there are unavoidable status effects, such as High Brunhilde, oh my god. See, something like this would be good for High Brunhilde, not High Midgard. See, High Brunhilde sometimes does unavoidable burn damage, in which case this will help out. I don't know if you guys have seen the clear without a healer, but that's basically something they did. They just hit Brunhilde as hard as they can and finished her off. Well, you can do that even easier if you can avoid burn altogether. They made no mistakes, but with this you have a leeway of, in case somebody made a mistake. I'm pretty sure that's, with regards to the video that they show, they probably had to try like a million times before they get it right. It's not an easy fight. And I mean, you have to also watch for the RNG of the volcano dropping onto you. So hey, what if you only have like 1 health because you're burned to death? Oops, that one volcano just finished you off. Yeah, that volcano that does only like 100 damage, yeah, it just killed you. So a shield prep like that would help. An affliction guard would help on top of that. So it is a very useful thing. Too bad it's not the right element. I just don't understand why they're doing this HMS care package nonsense. Like, HMS is not that hard. It makes no sense to me. What do you think about this?
I agree. I think, though, that it's possible that they've had some influx of new players, and that these people who are just, like, we just saw this, getting started quests thing.
I see.
This feels like an extension of that, where they are just like, hey, you guys want to do HMS? Well, we're not going to have you do the same grind and all the stuff the other players had to do, which for us it's now, pretty easy to do it. We're just going to jump start you into there. Take these here's your new Hild, we can talk about Ezelith in a second, who also has stun res. Here's your rose prints and your 100% skill prep. And you're going to get in there and you're going to clear it. It'll take you a week to prepare and you're going to be good to go.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I guess when you think about it like this, Side Games is the kind of guys who are really looking towards players. That they're really taking care of their players a bit. I feel like when they heard us complaining about, oh, we're not getting tenfolds, all of a sudden they're showering us with tenfolds again. Not that I mind personally, because I never quite take it for granted. I just feel like, I guess people got too used to seeing tenfolds, but I guess, they must have hide someone in the subreddit or something, and as soon as someone complains, they fix it. I feel like they're really in tune with the player base, and I thought that's pretty cool. So your idea of them doing this to benefit new players makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I've always been thinking about terms in which, hey, how do you do things at the higher level? But when you say it like that, it really enlightens me.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it came off to me. That they just wanted to fast track those players, so they didn't have to put in the kind of time and that we had to do when we were preparing for these. And I like that. I mean, I think it's good for the game to get have the new players more rapidly catch up. It doesn't really benefit us to have them go so slowly and be bad at the early content and have us carry them. we'd rather get them caught up so they can start running the harder stuff with us later.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This will increase the player pool quite a bit. And, you know, the whole wyrmprint changes will increase the number of heroes that you can run into these runs as well. So in doing so, it broadens the player pool a bit. Because I know so many people who can't do High Brynhilda because they don't have the heroes. Like us, for example. We couldn't do it for a bit because, you know, someone has to sacrifice themselves to get Poseidon ready to to heal us. So, you know, it took us a little bit of time before we got started, like 2 or 3 weeks later. So, you know, whereas in High Midgard, it's been like 3 or 4 months. I'm still surprised seeing people who hasn't done it yet. So what you say makes perfect sense. Anyway, we've gone on that for a bit. Let's talk about Ezelith. The whole reason why we're doing this video today instead of yesterday, because we wanted to find out about their stats. We want to get a more accurate reading on it. I don't know what everybody else think about this, but do you think that perhaps maybe I should just start things right away instead of waiting for the info on the 4-star stuff and the 3-star stuff? Perhaps that might be better, because then you get it right away rather than like now. I don't know. I mean, I guess just let me know in the comments. So anyway, let's get started with Ezelith. So Ezelith has this, she shoots 2 range attacks. They're just lines. Well, actually, no. Floral Explosion isn't a line. It's actually like Night of Antiquity. It actually goes down and creates an AoE on the ground. And it inflicts burn. Not very exciting. And then there is the Piercing Rose, which actually is a line, and reduce defense by 10%. So, ideally, you want to combo the 2 together. But generally, the second skill usually takes a little bit longer than the other one, which is kind of weird. But if you were to say, oh, run skill prep, then it'd be a little different. And not to mention, skill haste, as I said before, helps normalize the 2 abilities charge time. If the difference isn't too big, the 11% could actually make it so that you could fire off Piercing Rose before Floral Explosion. Or you don't have to wait that long before you have to, you know, use Floral Explosion, so that you can get the combo going, because that's the most ideal way to do damage with her. Now, there is the 35 hits energy up combo, but it's kind of like more a thing where, oh, let's group up with Hild than anything else, honestly. I don't know. I'm not really feeling Ezelith, despite the fact that she's, well, Super Saiyan Delthea, and she's cute, and she has a sharp fang that'll turn you into a vampire.
This feels like a very simplistic kit that was designed for a new player to take and just use, so that you have more options than just Yuden. You know, first skill does damage, second skill does damage, 35 hits equals energy. None of those things are very complicated. Unlike, you look at some of the more recent characters that we've had, where you have these crazy long text boxes and abilities. I mean, even Hild's one, you just look at the text box, it's explaining energy, like they explained it, but there's just more stuff going on with the stances, and you know, if you use the skill once, it does this. You use it again, it does this. This, you don't see any of that here. This is just a very simple kit. It's easy to read, easy to understand. And she has the 100% stun for anyone who wants to start and play HMS. So yeah, I mean, she's boring, but she's probably going to be decent. So new players can use her and enjoy her in HMS.
Yeah, compared to Charisse, I feel like this one is a lot weaker, though. It's a little unfortunate, but she does have 2.
Charisse for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both of them do the same thing. You stack as a number of hits as you can, but Charisse's buff is a lot stronger. Energy is kind of iffy to me, honestly. Yeah, you can build up 5, you do like 50% more damage, but it's only a one-time thing to keep building up. The 35 hit combo is not that hard to achieve, but it still takes a bit of time. And in doing so, well, it takes away your DPS. The time. Now, I think that she stacks really well with her original wyrmprint, which I've talked about before, with the nice little Ezelith wyrmprint with her legs and all that. Let's see if I can show that wonderful wyrmprint. It's a cute little wyrmprint. Let's see. I've had that thing since the beginning of the game. I keep getting pity broken by horrible things like this. It's not a bad wyrmprint, especially now with the resistance of 5%. It goes up to 8%, I think, as a max and bound, so it's actually not bad. The flurry strength, I think, goes up to 15% or 18%. I think it's 15. So Flurry Strength is actually pretty decent too. I mean, your combo, it only asks for a combo of 15. For a bow user, bow shoots really fast, and it shoots out like 3 or 4 shots at a time. So you can build up your combo pretty easily. So I can see why this setup works the way it does right there for Ezelith. Then she can use even her own wyrmprint to do something like that. It's not as simple as you describe. I think there is some combinations that you can do with that. It's just that the unfortunate part is that Cerise can do the same thing, but she is a Gala limited hero, so she doesn't appear a lot much. I say this, but I see like a million of them anyway. But anyway, you can do the same thing with Ezelith now, just at a slightly lower scale. That's the most important takeaway from all this, in my opinion. I suppose you can also add the broken Punisher damage, but even then, that's limited in scale. So besides that, I don't think I have any other further opinion on her. I don't know. Do you have any more?
No, that's about it for Ezelith.
Yeah, I mean, she's really cute. It's just unfortunate that she's 4 stars this time around. Alright, so the next wyrmprint, we have Entwined Flames. Not feeling that one at all. Doing 10% more dragon damage is, not feeling it at all.
No, it's not very good.
No, consider the fact that I think our normal wyrmprints can help can do damage as well, so something like that. This is a waste of a wyrmprint, but I guess it could be decent for a collection. Maybe it looks beautiful. Then we have Orion, who is a 3-star hero. Most unfortunate for him, because he's actually pretty decent when you think about it. He does have this dual buff nonsense that he can do for himself. When I saw him in the video, he put up that defense. I thought that his thing was a dual buff. But it turns out that it's just simply because he has strength double buff as his ability. So, I mean, he's as simple as it can be. Oh, you put up dual buffs. You use your defense and you also increase your attack at the same time. Yeah, that's cute. And you can the spin, inflict burn. Very nice. I guess you can pair him up with the other dual buff wyrmprints, but in general, he's really simple. I can't even think of much else to say about him. I don't know about you, but, well, let me know.
No, he's got curse res, so you're going to have to do a little bit more work to make him usable for HMS. We'll see with the Void Battles, but yeah, he seems decent, but not too much else to add.
Yeah, I mean, that curse res makes no sense to me, honestly. It's the same thing with the other 3-star heroes that has that. They have just this random-ass resistance out of nowhere that, unless Void Battle starts actually applying different statuses in these battles, I just don't see the point in these things. They're so random, and not to mention it takes away 2 of his ability slots. I still don't like that. I mean, yeah, we had the dual wyrmprint thing, but still, why would you need to shaft 3-star units that much? What did they ever do to you? They really have less stats. I mean, their abilities are really not like super exciting either. Like, come on, man. Orion didn't do anything to deserve this. That being said, let's wrap up with another 3-star, and that is To My Beloved, a skill prep 15. What the hell is the point of that one little thing? There's no point in 15% skill prep. I don't see it.
No, seems like a complete waste to me unless there's something coming down the line that changes this. We already have a free welfare 25% skill prep wyrmprint, so unless there's something I'm not seeing here that like somehow makes it 85 where this tops it off, there's no reason to use this over what we have.
Exactly. If it doesn't add up to 100, it's no use. The 25% one will work with Lowen, will work with the others, will work with Amane, but no one wants to use 15%, so this is a waste. I don't even know why they put it in. It's a complete waste of a wyrmprint, except I guess if you like flowers. But anyway, so that's about it from my perspective of things and Burke's perspective of things of this banner. Do you think there's anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's it for me.
Alright, well, I'll be summoning on this banner myself, and I hope that I get this skill prep thing. I don't know about you. I don't know what you're gonna do. I mean, did you use all your bonus packs already? I mean, I guess you could get like You could work in the Champions Testament thing and squeeze a few more instead of using the pure.
Oh no, I cleared every single value.
You cleared all 5?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just doing the whole cross thing in my heart. It's like, this scares me, man. Like,
I'm at 5%, so I may try to clear it off, but not too much more I can do. I'm already in the raw territory here, deplorable territories.
Using raw Dimanium is horrible. Horrible. I mean, I did the same thing with Langrisser. Using raw is kind of iffy. I mean, you can afford it, but yeah, I don't know. Do you think that, like, maybe we'll hope for a pity break or something in the future? But there's so many wyrmprints already, though. It might be kind of iffy to get it later in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult because I really, really want. I was hoping to get 3 or 4 of them out, and now I'm just praying I can get.
Level 1 comes at 50%. That's already pretty sizable. But yeah. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. And myself as well, because I gotta do the same thing as you in just a little bit. Alright, well, with that sharing of misfortunes, I thank you all for watching. Until next time.